What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Antlers and Hicks podcast. I have got a great deer for you tonight, something I've been wanting to show you for quite a while, how to score a velvet buck. We've got a beautiful, full velvet 14-point kill. That right here, what am I saying, kill? It was killed several years ago by a friend of mine, and I asked him, I said, hey, can I just borrow that so that I can show my subscribers and my viewers kind of how to do this. So when it comes down to velvet, I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to talk about a very cool topic that I like, and it's called, what's your plan? But before we do any of that, I always say, what do you think the score is going to be? Well, I'm going to give you 4 options right here. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You look at this rack, 14 scoreable points. What do you think? Which score right here do you think is going to be the final score for this deer right here? We're going to score a velvet buck. I'm going to show you all about it. We're going to talk about your plan. You guys hold tight. We're going to get started. Okay, so you probably see the tape that I've got on this deer. I'm not a big tape guy. Some scorers like to put tape on there. I'm not that way. I want people to see where I'm scoring, what I'm scoring, and that way they have a better understanding of the score that I come up with. I use the low-tack painter's tape. I'm not going to use duct tape. I'm not going to use even white masking tape. I like this low-tack stuff. But I encourage you, if you're going to score a velvet deer, take a piece of tape, find you a little inconspicuous spot, and then tape it and see what happens. Now, the story on this deer, as far as the velvet goes, this isn't real velvet. This is a faux velvet. This came from, he had it sent off because he shot this deer in full velvet. And didn't find it for a few days. By the time he found it, the velvet was trashed. But this is exactly how it looked when he shot it. And so he went to a taxidermist. Taxidermist had it done. And I think it turned out great. It looks just like real. I mean, you can even see a few little spots on here where it really looks real. I mean, this is good stuff. So that's what we've got. I'm going to start, as usual, on the right-hand side. So what do you think this deer is going to come up to be? You got your 4 scores locked in. That's something I'm going to start doing. That way, if you guys are, you're sitting around as a group, you want to, see who's closest, who can judge, because a lot of people think they can judge off a picture or off an image, the score of a deer. And I'm going to tell you something, partner. I ain't never heard of nobody being no official picture scorer, okay? Because don't nothing tell the truth like a tape measure when it comes down to something like this. I'm going to follow the main beam. If you're scoring a velvet deer, be extra, extra careful because that velvet is real slick. It's real slippery. And that main beam, the cable on the main beam may slip. So you have got to walk your way down there very, very slowly. Take your time. Don't rush. So, like this deer right here, man, I had to have a plan on how I was going to score it. I sat down and I figured it out, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And that's how we need to be with our lives a lot of the time, don't you think? You got to have some sort of plan. Whether you're trying to live your life, right side main beam, 23 and 0/8. 23 and 0/8 for that right side main beam. I'm going to start it up, right side MB 23 and 0/8. So, if you're going to do anything in life, man, you really need to have you a plan. Like I said before, before I even scored this deer, I sat down, and that's what I do before I score every deer. I look at it, and I see the route I'm going to take. I look for anything that's going to cause me problems. I look for all kinds of stuff. And that's what a plan is really for. It's so that you have an idea of where you're going. So, when it comes down to your life, where are you going? What you doing? Do you have a plan? I don't know. You tell me. So, I worked a long time at a sawmill. And I was environmental health and safety. That's right. I was the guy everybody hated. This point right here is an irregular point. It's going to be 1 3/8 inches. So we're going to go IR1, 1 3/8 inches. Yeah, I was a guy nobody liked. Oh, let me show you something real quick. We're going to get back to that story in just a second. Y'all see this right here? These dudes come up, and then they make a hard Y, split. Well, which one's the typical point? When it comes down to velvet, it's hard to tell. You don't have a bloodline. You don't have anything that you can see. So let's just see what the other side looks like. We can maybe use that twin. Well, I be dog does the same thing. In this instance, what I do as a scorer, per the rule book, I have an interpretation of this rack. Which point is going to be the mother point? Which point is going to be the daughter point? The mother point is going to be the one that runs all the way up. So I'm calling the one that goes straight up, pretty well straight up, a little more straight than the other one. I'm calling that one the mother point. So this one here, from here all the way down, is going to be a typical point, and then the irregular point is going to come off at an angle like that. So that's how you handle that split right there. So I'm going to do the irregular, what we call the daughter point, right now. So yeah, I was the dude nobody liked to see coming. But I tried to be a good dude, man. I wasn't one of those safety people that's going to try to cause a lot of trouble and stuff like that. All right, this point right here, 6 4/8. 6 4/8, baby. Love it. Good point, man. Good point. Oh, man. All right, so we've got 2 irregular points on this side. Now we're going to start scoring the typical points, or what Buckmaster calls the regular points. First point on the right-hand side is a dandy. 7 5/8. I got 7 5/8 for the P1. 7 5/8. Y'all, it's my birthday. If you hear my watch buzzing, I'm getting a lot of folks, wishing me a happy birthday. So, oh goodness, I know what I can do. I didn't put my tape on this one, but I'm going to put this here, just like that. And then I'm going to take my tape measure. I'm going to come down and use my straight edge to help me find the point that I'm working on. This one right here. Come on, baby. Work with me. All right. 11 5/8. P2 is going to be 11 5/8. And when I take pictures, I'll put a piece of tape on there so that you guys can see. I just didn't want to have to stop the video to go get it. And if it's different, hey, I'll call it different. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be, I'm 99.999% sure that's going to be it. All right, let's get this next one. We're going to run the curve of the point now, okay? 10 7/8. P3. 10 7/8. And finally, the last one. 4 3/8. P4. 4 3/8. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and count to make sure that I didn't miss anything. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Now let's do some circumference measurements on this side. So your plan. So why do you do so when I was a safety guy, we used to have to do safety plans, okay? And I thought that was a big bunch of fluff at first. And after the first few years, I realized without those plans, we would have no idea what our training this year was going to look like. We'd have no idea what our certifications would look like. Oh, it was a huge deal. You have to have a plan. And I am forever a believer in a plan. Bases, based on the right-hand side, 5 1/8. So C1, 5 1/8. But I'm a big believer in a plan. Shoot, man, you even take a plan when you go cut your grass. Okay, you just don't go out there willy-nilly cutting grass. You have a plan. You know what you're going to do. You know exactly what you're going to do. Ooh, look at there. 4 1/8. C2, 4 1/8. I'll tell you, when you're using this, when you're scoring a velvet deer, you need to make sure, don't just pull it till it's snug, because it'll snug on that velvet. You got to pull it tight to get that full, smallest spot. It looks like 4 and 0, but barely. Yeah, 4 and 0/8 for the C3. 4 and 0/8 for the C3. Goodness gracious almighty. There we go. And then 3, looks like it's going to be 3 and an 8. Yeah. 3 and 1/8 for the C4. All right, baby. That's that side. Y'all hang tight. We're going to flip it over and go the other side. All right, guys, we are back. I had to go get some tape for this side right here. And when I left out, I told you before it was my birthday. Well, there was a couple of things that came up I had to take care of. I said, you know what? I'll just finish that video tomorrow morning. I'm up early trying to get this thing for you. We're going to finish out this beautiful full velvet 14 point. And we're going to start back on the left-hand side this time. Got my tape. I went back, and when I flipped it over, there wasn't any tape over here. How about that? Remember, I had on this other side, there wasn't no tape. And I'm like, goodness. So I got some tape for this one, and I went back and measured this one. I was right, 11 and 5/8. It's exactly what I was expecting. So now let's get to this side, and I'm going to finish up telling you a little bit about a plan because, you know, I told you before I worked at a sawmill. There's a thing about a plan, though. You can have the best laid plan, okay? You can have the best laid plan. But, baby, if you ain't going to follow through on it, it's all for naught. There's no reason in even having a plan. I used to work with a guy, ooh, Lord Jesus. This guy was not my favorite person at all. He was a superintendent where we worked. And he would come up with these elaborate, beautiful, I mean, he'd have this stuff printed out on some paper. I'm talking about something. And it looked good. But he never, ever followed through on the plan. If you ain't going to follow through, baby, you might as well just not even start. And that's a lot of stuff. This main beam isn't bad. But again, guys, when you're running your hands on these main beams, whether it be hard-horned or velvet, be extra, extra careful because it's slick, and you don't want to slip on that real estate. You want that real estate to be, that's what I call the main beam. That's a lot of real estate, man, on them main beams. You want them to be accurate, but you got to be able to follow through. You know, it's like YouTube. Let's talk about this right here. What we're doing right here. I've told you before. I've mentioned him, Bradley Smith with God's Country Hunting and Fishing. Bradley is a friend of mine, lives down the street. Dude's got like 50,000 subscribers. Some great content. His main thing, you have got to be consistent. You have got to have a plan, and you got to figure out how you're going to get this done. 22, I'm going to call this one 22 and 3/8. 22 and 3/8 left side main beam. MB 22 and 3/8. But yeah, you got to have a plan. You can't start and then get about halfway or 3/4 of the way through and stop, because then you're shortchanging you're shortchanging the process, you're shortchanging everything. All right, let's get some irregular points. Let's get this irregular point down here at the bottom real quick. It looks like I'm scoring it differently, but I promise you I'm doing it right. It grows funky. It grows from the very back base here. This is going to be 2. Oh, where are we at? Get in there, baby. Ooh, my belly's growling this morning. 2 and 5/8. Is that 5/8? Am I looking at the... Yeah, 2 and 5/8. And this is an IR1. Let's move to this. Now remember I told you before about the irregular point versus the regular point when it comes to these splits. When it comes to this split right here. Okay, so again, this long one right here is going to be what I'm calling the mother point, the typical point. This one right here is going to be the irregular point. So I'm going to get a measurement on that one real quick. 6 0/8 on the IR2. Whew, boy, that's a good brow tines. Man, I'm gonna tell you, when it comes down to like my spiritual plan, I wrote out some points the other day. You know, I've been struggling a little bit, I told you. I wrote out some points the other day. I got 11 points on how I'm going to be, look over this rack at you, on how I'm going to be better with my spiritual walk. I got to stick to it, though, if I'm going to be successful. Because that's what you got to do. If you're going to be successful at anything, it's consistency, baby. Make your plan, stick to the plan, make adjustments along the way. 7 2/8 on that P1 on that brow tine. P1, 7 2/8. A lot of kids going off to college right now. Beautiful. I love it. I got one who's going to be going to college next year. So my question to y'all, what's your plan? And you're probably like, well, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be a chemical engineer. I'm going to be a doctor. No, baby. That's your goal. That's your goal. How you going to get there? Okay, and don't just tell me what you're going to be doing in school, because there's a lot of stuff. Okay, your advisors, your counselors, they're going to handle that. They're going to help you with that. I'm talking about how you going to get money during college. What's your plan to feed yourself? What's your plan to learn some stuff? You got to have another plan besides your end goal. Okay, you got to micro that stuff out. And good luck to the college young folks. Hey, I got a saying for you college young folks. I want you to listen to me right now. We're going to stop all this. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on you, okay? That's what I call it when we go talking about Jesus. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on you. Matthew 10:16. Therefore I send you out like sheep amongst wolves. Be as innocent as a dove, but as sharp as a serpent. There's your one, college kids. Y'all finna get out in some world where your mom and daddy can't be with you. Y'all finna get out in a world that will eat you up just cause it can. My advice to you, look at here, this shotgun right here is long. My advice to you is get you a good group of people that you can grow with. Get you a good group of like-minded people that's going to watch your back. Treat everybody cool. That's what the Bible verse is saying. Treat everybody cool, but understand these folks out there is going to hurt you, and you got to feed them with a long handle spoon. And we're going to get off of that and get back to scoring deer. This one right here, this is a good one. I'm going to say 11 7/8. P2, 11 7/8. Let's go on to the P3, baby. Man, we had a good birthday last night. Watched a movie on the Netflix, got me a nice steak. You know, talked to a friend of mine for a little while. How about 10 3/8? P3. 3/8. It ended well. 47 years, man. 47 years goes quick. If you've been on Earth long as I have or longer, you realize how quick it is. How about 4 2/8 for the last P4? 4 2/8. And if I had known I was going to live as long, what's that old say? Who said that? Willie Nelson? I can't remember who said it. Said if I'd known I was going to live this long, I'd took better care of myself. Oh man, we're going to do some circumference measurements, guys. And remember, even I've scored a few other velvet deer, and it feels just the same as this stuff right here, this faux velvet. But when you do your circumference measurements, man, pull it tight. Don't just snug it. You got to really give it so that it pulls in there. Circumference measurement on first circumference measurement, left hand side, 5 0/8. C1. But I'm going to tell you this, when I go back to the plan, even the best laid plans will fail. That's just how it is. I mean, was it Thomas Edison, I think they said, had how many inventions that just, crapped to bed, just didn't do a flip. Finally had something take. Don't give up, man. You know what you want your end goal to be. Make your plan. Check your plan. What's that old saying? Plan, do, check, adjust. Plan, do, check, adjust. Make your plan. Do it. Adjust it when you need to do it. And then keep going. Make your plan. Adjust it. I've had to adjust this thing several times. How about 3 7/8 for the C2? C2, 3 7/8. I got a cousin that does sewer systems, and and I promise you I'm gonna tie this in. He does sewer systems for on the side. He installs them. 3 4/8. C3, 3 4/8. And you got to have a plan. He does it every Friday. He devotes every Friday to treatment plants. And he knows how many he's doing, what he's doing, type of equipment he's using. He's calling during the week to get all that stuff lined up, all the materials and everything to the job, so that when he gets there on Friday, he's ready to roll and he gets it done. That's having a plan. Now, I'm sure along the way, if let's just say we couldn't get him the materials in time or something happened, he would have to, what would he have? Adjust his plan, and he would have to go somewhere else. Don't just give up. Don't just say, oh, I can't do this because, oh, so-and-so. No. Cuz didn't say that. Cuz knows he can do it. Cuz just got to adjust his plan every so often. And that's what I'm saying when I'm adjusting your plan. 2 7/8 on the last circumference measurement. C4, 2 7/8. I tell you what else, when you're deer hunting, how many times do you deer hunt? You got a plan when you hit the woods. And you know what? I tell you, or you got a plan on September the 15th. That deer's going to come from this way, and they're going to do this, they're going to do that. October 1st, you having to relick your calf because now the wind's changed. A different tree may be dropping acorns over here, so now the deer are coming in a different direction. Anything can happen. Variables happen. Don't give up on your plan. Just make some adjustments on it. If it puts in your heart, I always say this, man, if God put it on you, he's going to help you get through it and get to it. And if you have a plan and you think it's a divine plan, I'm getting in my pulpit this morning. Let me hold on. Stay with it. If I'm telling you, use your talents too, man. And that's why I'm doing this. I was sitting in church one day and the preacher just kept talking about using your talents. And I'm like, Lord, what? I know I can talk, but what do you want me to do with it? And that's when this was born. Let me get this out of the way because it's you got to watch this mason's rule. It's real thick and heavy. Sometimes it gets in there and will manipulate. How about 15 0/8 on the inside spread? 15 0/8, baby. You have seen the main beams. You've seen the irregular points. You've seen the beautiful velvet. And now you've seen the inside spread. 15 0/8. Write that down. Now, like I said before, you remember your scores that you come up with last, but when I started? You still with them? You changed a little bit? Is your opinion changed? Maybe a little bigger than I thought. I don't know, man. That sounds good. Maybe a little smaller than I thought. Well, lock it in. Tail of the tape coming up. Y'all hold tight. Tail of the tape. Here we go. Lock your scores in. Your final scores. Are we happy? Are we satisfied? Let's get it going. All right. When it comes down to the velvet rack, it is an absolute beaut. We're going to start with the right side measurements. Main beam 23 0/8. We had 7 7/8 worth of irregular points. The longest point on this side was the P2 right here with the 11 5/8, followed up by the P3, which is going to be 10 7/8. Circumference measurements. The bases are 5 1/8 on this right hand side. Then it goes 4 2/8, 4 0/8, 3 1/8 on circumference measurements. Okay. The total inches of antler for the right hand side, 81 7/8. That is strong. Let's move to the left. Main beam, 22 3/8. Irregular points. It had 8 5/8 worth of 8 5/8 inches worth of irregular points on this left-hand side. So it's more irregular on the left. Let's see. P2 is the longest one right here at 11 7/8. P3, 10 3/8. The base, 5 0/8. The circumference measurements were just a click smaller on this left-hand side. It went 5 0/8, 3 7/8, 3 4/8, and 2 7/8. See, it's a little bit, just a scotch, which pulled the overall score for the left-hand side to 80 0/8. So you take that 80 0/8, add 81 7/8, and this is my favorite part of a deer score, is 161 7/8 inches worth of antler. Then you take that 15-inch inside spread, add it to that, and you got 176 7/8 for this beautiful 14 point in velvet. Look, I'm going to tell you guys, the deer score is the least important part of deer hunting. I want to clarify that real quick. This is just the ribbon that ties everything together, just one more added piece to the puzzle. I love it. Now, when it comes down to your plan, baby, make your plan, do your plan, check your plan, adjust your plan, okay? Let's say your adjustments need to be made. Something happens and you just get frustrated. Well, hey, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, okay? You have a goal that you want to reach. Adjust your plans, reach your goal, be a success. My name is Greg Hicks. This is the Antlers and Hicks podcast. And as always, I'm going to encourage you guys to live your life past 20 yards. We'll see y'all next time.